But then, about 1600 years ago, someone came up with the idea of original sin, which supposes that we're born guilty, and therefore we're deprived of our rightful inheritance. Now, what kind of mind would come up with such an idea? I'm sure that way far back in history it was discovered that if you can make people feel guilty, you can control them. A mind that adopts guilt becomes vulnerable, disempowered, and easily led. The principle of guilt was developed to such an extreme by the Catholic Church that it resulted in the Lutheran Rebellion and ultimately the Protestant Revolution. So for some people, their life may suck because they think that that's all that they can expect. Reason number 3, your life may suck because you're addicted to drama. You know anybody who's addicted to drama? That's a person who always tries to get the most mileage out of every event, no matter what happens. You know anybody like that? It occurred to me this morning, when I was watching the news, that some people make a very good living at creating drama. Lots of examples. I don't know how you feel about Rush Limbaugh. Now, most people they either love him or they hate him. But he definitely has a big following. And I expect that most of you know some people who just seem to thrive on always being in turmoil. Oh, now maybe you know somebody going through a divorce. Oh my God, the problems that they can create. First they have a tug of war over the children. Then she gets custody. Then he steals the kids. Then she gets them back. Then they get together again, and then they break up again, and then she steals the kids. Restraining orders are flying all over the place, and then she finally meets a man who takes her away from it all. And then he walks away with her money. Get the idea? I mean, if you get caught up in the drama and you try to help, you just get sucked into the fiasco, and eventually you get sucked dry. Does that sound familiar to anybody? Well, this leads us to our next reason why your life could suck. Reason number 4, your life may suck because you try to fix people. There are plenty of variations on this theme. Have you ever known anyone who got married with the idea they were going to change their partner? Been there, done that. How about, do you know anyone who had success getting their children to lead the life that the parents chose for them? Then there's the person who thinks it's their job to make everyone happy. A prime example of the fallacy of trying to fix people is when you try to rehabilitate an alcoholic. And anybody done that? I've been guilty of that one. Yeah, oh yeah. You can't fix an alcoholic. I learned that one very well. Some alcoholics will pull themselves out of it when they're good and ready, and when they've hit bottom enough times. But if you try to help them when they aren't ready to help themselves, you'll only make things worse, because your help will enable them to keep on keeping on. And in the meantime, the effort will drain you emotionally, if not financially. They are the only ones that can fix their problems. Moving on. Reason number 5, your life may suck because you think you have to do it all yourself. Have you ever met a control freak? A good example, I'm sure you must have at one time or another, a typical example is a boss who has 10 employees and never delegates anything. He's a micromanager who constantly checks 100% of everyone's work. Don't know these guys? Not only does his life suck, but he pretty effectively messes up his employees' lives as well. His unwillingness to trust their work becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, because his employees are all afraid to do anything for fear of being wrong. Reason number 6, your life may suck, because you waste energy on things that suck, or people that suck. Yeah, there's a lot of sucking people out there. I've known a few. I had a friend who was a student of mine many years ago when I taught electronics. And he ended up working with me for a while, and our lives kept doing this, and our lives kept crossing paths. Larry, I'll call him Larry. Larry seemed like a nice guy. But a few years ago, he came down with a degenerative disease. Now, everyone immediately wanted to help the guy, including me. But it turns out that Larry didn't really want to get well. He kept doing things that caused himself to get worse. He was using his illness as a way of controlling and manipulating people and getting attention, which he'd never had that power before. Little by little, we all realized that the more we tried to help Larry, the more he sucked our energy down. Does this sound familiar? If any of you know Larry, we finally realized that he was like an energy vampire. I had another friend I want to tell you about. Maybe you've known someone like this. It was about 20 years ago. I was single at the time, and I met this woman on a blind date, and I was really excited about her. We really hit it off. We seemed so perfect together. I was so excited, I just couldn't wait to see her again. But on the second date, she tried to sell me her services. It's not what you're thinking. Legitimate services. Sort of. But anyway, I wanted to be her friend, and she wanted me to be her customer. I was disappointed, I was turned off, and I walked away. Lucky me. Over the years since then, I have met many others who have known her, and they all told me that they had the same experience with her. She would be around 60 years old now, and she's never really had a close relationship, because whenever someone got close to her, she would try to sell them something. Have you ever known someone like that? I think this woman would sell tickets to her own mother's funeral if she thought she could make money at it. And I'm not kidding. Don't you just hate it when your friends try to make you part of their downline? I was lucky, I got out of that early. But I watched other people trying to be her friend for years, only to realize she didn't want friends, only customers. Reason number 7, your life may suck because you don't play enough.